Here we are. Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Sunday Speedrunner Spotlight, episode 142. We're
Yeah,
getting
that's a
close
lot of
to three
episodes.
years, baby.
Ooh, boy. It's every week basically, yeah? That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. I mean, at least I can be consistent at something in my life. So that's good. Because we all know the speedruns do not have the same fate.
Speedrunning consistent.
Nah, too
Imagine.
hard, too impossible. Anyway, you, who are you? Tell us.
Yep. Hello, I am Chronos, a longtime speedrunner. I think it's approaching almost 8 years now, which is quite wild
Oh,
to
that makes
be.
you old now? Crap.
Yeah.
I'm
But
old.
yeah, I'm well known for a lot of people for running Baldur's Gate 3, Halo, and Skyrim, like Elder Scrolls games. You also might know me from stuff like the Moist Critical challenges, since I am the main organizer of those when they were going on, and quite a lot of other games and hobbies and stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot that I have to discuss here on this podcast. It is really fun, and I think it is really cool to be here.
Well, thanks for coming on. I'm sure you can do a great job at making a nice lengthy episode, so that's good. We like the content. So,
Hmm?
I guess we can get started. At the very beginning, 8 years ago, how did it all start?
So, I think technically, even though my speedrunning history is 8 years ago, I started on like Christmas of uh, what is it, 2017? Yeah, Christmas of 2017. And that was when I submitted my first Skyrim speedruns. But honestly, before then, I was probably speedrunning without even knowing it. And I believe in like around 2014, I saw some Skyrim runs on GDQ from Wymore, who is like a very old Skyrim speedrunner. And he did like console runs of Skyrim then, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I tried doing it myself back then, and I didn't know there was like official speedrun websites or anything at the time. So all I basically did was play the game very quickly and be like, oh, I beat the game in like an hour or so for Skyrim. And I think I might have held console world record back then without knowing it, but
Hmm.
I haven't submitted like any like console runs because I just didn't know speedrun.com existed back then. So yeah, it was only in 2017 when Wall of Spain did his Skyrim run. And I believe that was like when horse tilting for Skyrim, one of the
Hmm.
biggest tricks in the game, was discovered. And that was the first showcase of it. And Wall of Spain's run was like super cool for me to see because it was like, wow, I can't believe he can do that. And when I saw it, I was like, you know what, I want to try this. And then I think I don't know if I saw it or heard it about it on the GDQ live stream or anything, but about speedrun.com and stuff. And then I saw there was like a leaderboard, and that's when I was like, it would be pretty cool to like submit something. And I started doing my first Skyrim speedruns then. And I think in a week I got to like top 10, like for doing the run. I learned how to horse tilt and everything. It took a long time to do that. And yeah, that's when I basically started running Skyrim. So yeah, that was like the very first foray into stuff for me. And like when that happened, I started watching some of the other runs on the leaderboards, and one of the biggest names at the time was Waz, who was the world record holder. And the world record at the time was 26 minutes and 3 seconds. And I remember like back that was like absurdly good to me. Of course, nowadays Skyrim is a lot faster, but even now he's still like one of the greatest players of all time for Skyrim, and lots of respect to him. But
So, why did Skyrim hook you as the game that started
ooh.
it?
uh, so I think I played a lot of Skyrim casually back in the day. So I remembered I got like basically all the achievements in the vanilla version of the game, and I just was like really into that. And I think at the time I just watched the speedruns and stuff on GDQ when they were going on for the first time at around then. And I was like, oh, those are so cool. And I think other games that were pretty similar were Goat Rope and Mr. Monopoly's Halo runs, since those were also games I played as a kid and really enjoyed. So those were eventually the other games I picked up later down into the future. But yeah, it's pretty cool for all of that. And Skyrim for me as well is very cool because I think it was also the first game that I got a world record in as well.
Mm.
And that was because I remember in the main quest, I was kind of getting frustrated about my times because it was very difficult to improve with the horse tilting and all that being one of the most difficult mechanics in the game because you don't have like a lot of leeway to it, since all the horse tilting stuff, especially back then when it wasn't really figured out too well, was just a lot of practice and trial and error. So I learned the marriage percent route, where there's one big horse tilt that you have to learn how to do. And I ended up getting world record for that category over as at like 3 minute and 10 seconds at the time. Nowadays, like the record's like 30 seconds faster, which is absurd to think about. But yeah, that's really cool for all the Skyrim runs for me. And I remember I also did like basically every other category as well because you know what? I want to try this. So I tried like doing all guilds, and I created a all guilds route of my own, and like that's including like doing all the side quests of the civil, or not civil war, but the Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, College of Winterhold, and Companions. So it was doing all of those, and then I also did a main quest along with that as well. And I think those runs were so much fun because it was me coming up with my own route for the time. And even though it wasn't like the most optimal or anything, and there's so many other better routers than me nowadays, it was just really cool to be able to do that on my own for a category like that.
So the game gave you the opportunity to not only like kind of perfect the skill, but also to kind of learn the routing side of things too, and so you get like the full experience in one
Yeah,
game.
it was like basically dipping my toes into like all of what speedrunning is about. So not only did I come up with my own routes and stuff and get good at like being fast, I also found like my first glitches on my own in that run. Like one of the most notable ones is the double quest completion glitch, is what I call it, where you can complete a quest for the Companions Guild twice by quick saving and quick loading at a certain time and mashing E to interact with the NPC. And what that would do is it would complete the quest twice if you do it properly, and progress like halfway through the quest line, like skipping like all the extra radiant quests that you needed to do, which is absurdly fast. And I think it's cut the time in half for the Companions Guild,
Hmm.
which is really, really cool. And that was like the first time I found like a big glitch like that. So that was pretty sick.
Certainly sounds significant.
Yeah, and then like for Skyrim as well, I think it was also one of the times that I had my most heartbreaking run, and I still think it was probably the most heartbreaking moment of my speedrunning career of all time, and I don't think anything would come close. But my old PB, which I recently broke for practice for TwitchCon recently, uh, like it was a 26-minute and I want to say like 30 seconds or something. So it was like 25 seconds off of world record. And that could have been the world record run for Skyrim at the time if I didn't mess up towards the very, very end of the run and do like the most simple mistake that you could ever think of, which is just not fast traveling after talking to the dragon that takes you to Skulldolphin. And that causes you to have to watch a unskippable cutscene, which is about like 20 seconds long.
Oh,
So that was probably the closest that I got to a world record for Skyrim main quest and didn't get it. So yeah, that was quite the experience.
well, close
Yeah.
enough, right?
Mhm. Yep. But yeah, Skyrim's been like the first game, and it was like probably one of the big, most significant games back then for me. Definitely brought me into my speedrunning career.
Mhm. Is main quest the most popular category for the game?
Yeah, main quest is basically the any percent version. There's a lot of different versions of the main quest too. There's glitchless, which I did hold the record for at the time. I think I got like the first sub 1 hour 20-minute time, like 6 years ago or something. But nowadays, like people like Pekkanen and Lilu have advanced it so much nowadays that now it's like a 105 without glitches because they just optimized so much out of it. And I'm not that big of an optimizer when it comes to my gameplay. I'm not like super tedious for all these small time saves and stuff. As a speedrunner, like that's probably not the best if you're going for world records and stuff. I just like doing all the cool tricks and getting like a clean run. That's my idea of optimal to me.
Hmm. It's funny how, well, first of all, glitchless Skyrim sounds like taking all the fun out of it, but it's funny how much time the glitches save.
Yeah.
Whole hour.
I mean, you have glitches that cut the speed run in half because you skip all the quests
Mhm.
for main quest, and just the fact that you can discover all the locations and stuff with force tilting, with stuff like load warping, where you just take your save from one location to another location. There's like so many things in Skyrim. It's a really cool game. Like if you want to speedrun like a game for its glitches, I would highly recommend Skyrim because all like there's so many things you can do. Like I've done a glitch exhibition recently for what was it for PAX West as well, where I just showcased so many different glitches that are like fun and entertaining to do and honestly not too difficult to do either. And even like horse tilting isn't the hardest trick to actually do, but it's hard to get it to do what you want, is what I would say. But yeah, like Skyrim's really cool. And yeah, that was probably like the first 6 months of my speedrun career was all on Skyrim.
So how many different categories were there?
There's a lot. Like, there's all the individual guilds and stuff for Skyrim as well. There's a lot of miscellaneous like categories as well. I think I speedran like a bunch of the miscellaneous categories way back then. I think they're still on my YouTube channel. It's like some very dumb ones. Like, uh, one of them is uh, killing like it's called axe percent where you just kill a person like as soon as possible.
Hmm.
I think it was like 20 something seconds. There's like a lot of weird random stuff for that I did. I think there's like 20 plus categories that I did for Skyrim. And yeah, it's quite wild for all that. I never did like any of the DLC stuff because I never played the DLC like casually because I never owned it. So all the DLC stuff was like very foreign to me. I think I did a what was it, the Dragonborn DLC speedrun, and that was just me playing the game casually, basically casually quickly. And eventually I got it down to like a 2 hour time, and of course nowadays it's like way faster. Uh what was it? No, it wasn't Dragonborn, it was the Dawnguard DLC. Yeah, nowadays it's 10 minutes. My
Oh,
run
okay.
there is 2 hours. But yeah, it's what happens when new glitches are found that skip like the entire category. And when you don't have that much experience for stuff like that, then that's something that can happen. And especially then, that was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Mm.
So yeah.
So I assume what marriage percent is one of those miscellaneous,
Yeah,
but
it's probably one of the most popular ones. It's just getting married to an NPC as soon as possible, which in speedruns we use Mercurio, which is pretty cool. It's the guy in Riften that we always do a glitch called, what is it? It's called marriage glitch, but basically all it is you get regain control of your character after a cutscene because you fail your marriage. And when you fail your marriage, it basically returns control to your character. And by failing your marriage during like big cutscenes, you can just get control during the cutscenes that are going on. And that's one of the biggest glitches used in like basically every category of Skyrim.
so very very important world record to get for the first one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I guess that's a good point to transition over. So, the next speed run, the second speed run I did was Halo CE. And that was because I watched Garish's CE runs, because he was a well known Oblivion runner at the time for Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And so those games are pretty close in the communities with each other because there's the Elder Scrolls speedrunning uh, Discord where all the Elder Scrolls games are ran like together in a community. So I watched some of Garish's runs, and then I was like, "Oh, CE! I really loved this game as a kid. Like my brother and I would play CE co-op like all the time for the campaign, and I think I was never really good at it until like getting into the game later on. And I think casually as well, like the only Halo game that I actually was considerably good at back then was Halo Reach, where I beat the campaign on Legendary as a kid. All the other games I just played with my brother on like easy or normal to just play through it. But yeah, I saw Garish's CE runs, and they were so wild to me. I think some of the tricks, like Silent Cartographer, has a trick called Stick Stack, where we throw like 6 grenades, and they all perfectly blow up at the same time under you. And because we pick up a item called the Overshield, we're able to jump at the same moment that all the grenades explode, and it launches you straight up into the air like so high up, and that's probably one of the most iconic tricks of Halo speedrunning. So I saw stuff like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this. And I played CE on easy and tried to speedrun it, like on a first like casual playthrough. And I don't have the vid anymore, but it was a 4 hour and I want to say 8 minutes, which was very, very bad. Like because that was on easy, and even for the there's like an achievement in Halo CE for beating the campaign on Legendary under 3 hours. So it wouldn't be even close to that time. And yeah, I just really enjoyed trying that out. And eventually I joined the Halo speedrunning community. And I want to say that was in uh, June of 2018. So that's when I actually started speedrunning Halo a lot. And that was like primarily also as a break from Skyrim for speedrunning that for a while. And yeah, I just really enjoyed playing a lot of CE back then. And even though I wasn't the best, I slowly got my time down. And yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I know Halo, obviously, very popular run, but also like very historically
Mhm.
popular run, as in
Yeah.
they've been around longer than a lot of other speedrunning communities.
Mhm. Yeah, there's like a very lengthy history for Halo speedruns. Like I have a lot of the information like compiled on my own because I was planning on making videos and stuff, but just never came into fruition. But I know a lot of the knowledge from the history of Halo speedrunning from doing all of that stuff. And yeah, like it's quite wild because back then there's like so many tricks that were discovered while I was speedrunning Halo. And even for such an old game, like there's new tech like constantly that is being found by runners like Burnt, who also joined Halo's CE speedrunning at the same time as me, and he's one of the most notable trick developers and tool makers of Halo. Like he's made the checkpoint manager, which we all use for practice and all that, and it's very cool. Like it's a very cool tool, and he's also made like the auto splitter and all that integrating with live split, and he's just a great guy. So yeah, like I speedran Halo CE for a long time. In fact, like it's probably the game that I would consider uh, besides Skyrim to be the most impactful because it's the one that I probably have the longest career in because Skyrim I did take a lot of break in between, and Halo I just haven't really taken as big of a break or if any break at all because I just ran Halo for a long time. And it was Halo CE as well because Halo is the like Combat Evolved for Halo CE is the only game that was on PC at the time when I was running it. It was only like in, I want to say 2019, 2020, when like the Master Chief Collection came out on PC for all the other Halo games. So I was literally only running Halo CE for like, I want to say 2 years or something. And yeah, like I remember getting my time down to like around a 115 or something, which is a really good time back in the day. Like I think it was close to around the top 10. And that was when I also participated in my first community relay race. And I was definitely the worst player on the team for uh, the competing runners because I think it was Sub Whistle and Maxlu who were the other runners at the time, and they're still like way better than me in my opinion. They're just really good runners, and back then, like my time was definitely not comparable enough to them. But I still had a lot of fun for that being my first Halo runs uh, relay race, and I'm also the person primarily uh, progressing for all the relay races to happen. Since I think there was a time where we were just doing it like once a year, and then eventually people were like, "Well, we want like more like community stuff going on." So I was also the main person in the community pushing for community events. And now we have like a very big Halo speedrunning community. And yeah, I was like the first person or one of the people organizing the relay races, organizing like a lot of other events too. So yeah, it was quite wild.
So yeah, only the and that's the first Halo game, right? CE.
Yeah, that was Halo CE.
Okay. I'm not too familiar because I know they just went numbered entries from there on out, except Reach for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it goes like CE 2, 3, and then ODST is like the side spin-off from Halo 3, and
uh,
then Halo Reach came after, and then came 4, 5, and Infinite. And now they're doing a CE remake that's coming out sometime next year, so I'll probably be speedrunning that.
yeah, I've heard great
Mhm.
things about that.
It's kind of controversial overall, but I mean, it's going to be fun, I think. It's a Halo game. They're trying to stick to like similar things with the original CE version, and they're adding some new campaign missions. It's going to be interesting to see all the tech stuff behind it because I know there's a lot of differences. For instance, in Halo Infinite, the latest Halo game, they changed how grenades work for self boosting. So you can no longer like grenade jump, which was probably one of the biggest core mechanics of all the other Halo games besides Halo Infinite. So we'll see what stuff has changed because they're also adding sprint, which is also controversial. But to me, I don't really care if sprint exists or not. But you know, that's what it is. A lot of people have their own opinions for all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, luckily there's a lot of games to choose from at this point. Are they all on
Yeah.
PC? I feel like they're missing.
So all the Halo games are on PC except for Halo 5, which
Okay.
is why I'm pretty annoyed because I would do a full like all Halo games speedrun if Halo 5 were on PC. And like I'm pretty well known for being like proficient at like every Halo game. I have the world record currently for MCC easy percent, where I run every single Halo game on the Master Chief Collection, which includes Halo CE 2, 3, ODST, Reach, and 4. So all six of those games in a row. And that's like around 7 hours, I want to say.
Only
So
seven? Wow.
it's a pretty cool run. But yeah, Halo CE is definitely very significant for me. And I ran easy, which is like the less like popular category for like a lot of the people that enjoy just watching it. Like everyone likes to watch Legendary
Hmm.
for good reason, I guess. A lot of the combat stuff. But I'm primarily more of an easy runner because I just enjoy the cool tricks. And I wasn't really good at Legendary because my combat was very bad for a long time. Back when I was running Halo CE for the first time, like if you are an FPS gamer, you probably know how bad it is for running on bad hardware, for instance.
Hmm.
I was running on a laptop with a broken D key, like the D keycap came off. It had, I only had, I want to say 4 inches of desk space without a mouse pad and a non-gaming mouse with like mouse acceleration on at like wild 1600 DPI or something, which is very, very, very not good for any FPS person. So it took me probably around 4 to 5 years to get where I'm at now with like actually decent aim after playing games like Counter-Strike casually for like a while to like actually get good at aiming and all that. So it's quite the journey for just my own abilities for aim and skill, I would say, in that regard.
Have you improved your setup since?
Yes. In fact, I just now, for the first time, have a 5080, like high end PC for like after years. I was running on the equivalent of a 2060 for the past, I want to say 3 years. And then before then, I was running on a broken laptop, basically, for like my entire first other 3 years before then or something. So yeah, it was a journey of hardware mishaps for me for all that stuff.
Did it help a lot though?
Yeah, I would definitely say like as I got better and better hardware, like nowadays I think is probably the biggest hardware boost I've ever had, and I can feel it in my gameplay, but I just haven't been speedrunning too much. I mean, I've been slightly burnt out in a way, like after running for a super long time, and I'm also like very widespread across many different games and stuff nowadays. Like I have like a collection of 30 speedruns that I have done, like 30 different games of speedruns I have done. And there are all sorts of like different genres and stuff. It's quite wild just because I enjoy the games and I'm like, you know what? I want to try speedrunning it. So that's kind of me. I just enjoy speedrunning for the sake of speedrunning. That's a me thing.
So after CE, did just all the other Halos follow?
Uh, sort of, yeah. There's a couple other things that came before then, I want to say. But yeah, like it was also way back then as well when I also first started doing my marathon runs. Like I didn't think I would ever get into like a GDQ back then, but I saw there were other like small speedrunning events. Some of them were like Midwest Speed Fest was like the very first one that I did back in 2018. And I did a Skyrim main quest run with a glitch exhibition for that. And I think I did like quite a few more. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, uh, but there's a lot of like small speedrunning marathon communities and stuff that I did take part in. And I didn't like stream to too many people back then. It was like 3 to 5 people, like mostly community members. And even those marathons were like around 20, 30 people watching. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it gave me my first insight into speedrunning marathons. And surprisingly, I got accepted to SGDQ 2019 for Skyrim. And that was so wild to me because I submitted off like that was the only game I submitted was one Skyrim run, and they accepted it. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I was like shaking like the entire time for like being so excited and nervous about all of that stuff going on. And I think for that run as well was when I had probably the most nerves I've ever had for speedrunning in general. And what didn't help for me for that event was my run was on the very last day. So it was
Mm.
Saturday. And so you're spending all week thinking about like, oh no, like I don't want to mess up on stage. And I was like panicking for the first entire week of that and didn't really do too much. I didn't know a lot of community members at the time. Like I didn't know like anyone. Uh, so it was very interesting of an experience. But on the last day of the event, there's a very important thing that I do want to note is there's a couple Halo community members at the time, very old runners. Like very few people would know them nowadays in the CE community, but it was like 10-10-220 and Shatter Mage, and they ended up watching my Skyrim run, and yeah, I ended up hanging out with them because oh, they're Halo runners, and it was pretty cool to see me, who was also a Halo runner at the time, and we went to like Mall of America and just hung out, and that was probably the like first experience I actually had like in person with like a lot of community members there that I could talk to a lot with. And that was probably like the biggest like thing for me in my opinion was meeting those people. And yeah, it really affected me for how I treated all my other GDQ events, and now I'm the main initiator for getting all the stuff like organizing group hangouts and stuff. And yeah, like all the Halo runs events and all the Halo speedrun people, like when we go to events, like I organize all the hanging out and stuff. So it's definitely affected me a lot, and I'm very happy about that.
So was it just the like main quest that got in?
Hmm. Yeah, it was main quest for that, and yeah, that was really cool. I think it was like for that run specifically, I remember it kind of vividly. But basically, I failed the first horse tilt for a little bit. That was when my nerves were the highest. And then right after I finished landing that first horse tilt, the rest of the run went smoothly. So my nerves always kick up like on the very first, like 5 to 10 minutes of a run, and then afterwards it's like super clean. And I think that's like a theme in the majority of my marathon runs that I've done is normally the very start is kind of bad and the rest of it is super clean. Like in fact, there was one at TwitchCon like a few years ago where I did Halo Reach, and Halo Reach has a very notable trick called Falcon, like Falcon grab. It's like the early out of bounds Falcon stuff where you need to EMP it, get it to flip over, and get out of bounds by using a Spirit, one of the Halo vehicles that like is just part of the game flying off to like get yourself out of bounds and be able to skip probably like 5 minutes of the game. And I remember I messed up that beginning so badly I had to restart the mission like 3 4 minutes into the run, which is like wild, and it's the first mission. And then once I did that, the rest of the run was 1 minute off of my PB.
Oh,
So it was like absurdly good, like apart from that very start. So yeah, it's quite wild how marathon runs can be.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that's pretty common to all the nerves at the very start, and then you just kind of settle into it and lock in. But yeah, the first time must have been hard because doing that on Saturday, that's when the most people are watching.
Yeah, like it's also like the very first time speedrunning in front of a live audience. It was like Saturday, I want to say it was early afternoon as well.
Mm,
So like everyone's like getting hyped, getting ready for the big day at the end. And yeah, it's kind of what happens when it's your first time. You're not like a veteran runner. Like I only had like around a year and a half of experience, and the only experience I had was like online marathon runs and stuff, which I ended up using as my practice for these events. And I remembered like constantly being in like the practice rooms at GDQ, just playing the Skyrim like main quest run like many times just to like not mess up. Yeah, that was quite the experience for all that.
and it all worked out.
Mhm. Yep. And yeah, around then, I want to say is also when I did a lot of the other Elder Scrolls games too. So I remembered, like, what was it? Yeah, I did all the other Elder Scrolls games because I wanted to do the Elder Scrolls anthology. So I learned all the Elder Scrolls games, which are Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, and I did an Elder Scrolls anthology run because I saw Puri Puri was one of the older runners that did that, and I was like, I really want to do that. That seems so cool. So I ended up doing runs of the Elder Scrolls anthology and got the world record back in 2018, I want to say. And that was super cool. And I think like in 2019, I think I tried submitting it to GDQ for the first time as well. It didn't get in. And I think it was only until, when was it? I do have it pulled up here. Yeah, in 2023, I resubmitted it and ran it for SGDQ 2023. And that was probably one of the most popular runs for me, besides like Baldur's Gate, but that's like also way down into the future. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to cover for my speedrunning career for that portion because yeah, we're still in like the 2018, 2019 era of Chronos, which is like, yeah, I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that anthology, how long does that take?
Anthology was around 2 hours at the time, just like RTA. I think it's like an hour and a half if you include all the in-game time, like
Mm,
all like take out all the loading and switching games in between. And yeah, it's quite wild because all the games have very, very different movement systems.
mm,
So each game has their own speed of movement mechanic where you have to do something completely different. Like Arena is all strafe running, so you have to hold WAWD to like move diagonally for like the entire game to move as fast as possible. For Daggerfall, we have something called buffer jumping, where you look up into the air and then you hold like four buttons down at once, and it causes you to jump forwards very quickly in a direction, which is way faster than just walking in general. Then for stuff like Morrowind, you have the Keening Sunder glitch, where you're rapidly swapping your weapons to gain a speed boost from the like weapon, the keening weapon, which gives you bonus speed every time you switch off and onto it, which is kind of a bug in the game. So that makes you fly super fast. And then Oblivion, we have like a lot of the funny shenanigans with skooma running and all that, but I don't think there's any in the any percent, but there's a lot of like wall clipping and falling out of bounds shenanigans for that. And then of course Skyrim I already talked about with the horse
mm,
tilting. But there's so many glitches and stuff that you needed to learn. In fact, like the biggest barrier for anthology is Daggerfall because there's so many like random elements to it, including the infamous werewolf quest where you have to find a werewolf and kill it, and the werewolf spawns in a random dungeon at a random location in the dungeon. And sometimes you might just not be able to find it, or it might like despawn and get bugged out, and you have to like retry it over again. And it takes like a long time to like retry and all that. So yeah, it's stuff like that, and with Daggerfall being a very complicated game by itself, with how its quest system works and all that, and it being like a 20-minute run as well, being pretty lengthy for an Elder Scrolls game because Morrowind and Oblivion are like 3 to 4 minutes each for any
mm.
percent. Skyrim is like 30 minutes, which I did a lot of runs, so I was very familiar with it already. And then Arena is pretty popular for it being having uh, just one dungeon over and over and over again for like 20 times because of how the quest item spawns in. So it's like very funny run and very easy and very chill speed run to learn. So yeah, it took me a long time to like get down for the run. And yeah, now the run is just over an hour and a half. I do really want to break that 1 hour, 30-minute barrier, which I definitely can do now with new hardware and like just being way more proficient at Skyrim nowadays. But Daggerfall, relearning that is going to be like a pain if I were to do that. And I do have like a lot of other stuff on my plate for things I want to run and do. So yeah.
So they're all very different.
Hmm.
Hmm. So a couple of the
Yeah.
games are only like a few minutes.
Yeah, Morrowind and Oblivion are notorious for having very short runs, primarily because Oblivion, the end of game marker is literally a door at the like right after you finish the tutorial. You
Oh,
just go to the main central hub of the world, where there's literally a door that you can enter in if you clip through like another door. And basically, when you interact with that, it just puts you at the end of the game
Oh,
for like no apparent reason.
how convenient.
And then for Morrowind, it's kind of similar thing. Like you can literally just fly to the end zone by using uh, there's a sorcerer that falls from the sky with scrolls that let you jump like super far distances. So we just use those scrolls to jump to the end of the game where we are able to just clip through the walls and get all the items, and that's it.
Hmm.
So it's pretty fun, neat little runs. But yeah, it was around that time when I uh, did a bunch of random other games that I really enjoyed too. So let's see. Another small marathon I would say that I also took part in was the Speedy Fists Marathon, which is a fighting game marathon run stuff like community that just all speed runs of fighting games. And I don't know if they've done any in like the recent times, but back in 2019, they were doing a lot of those. And I was a big fan of the Soul Calibur games series. Soul Calibur 6 just came out, and I was also a big fan of Soul Calibur 2. That was my fighting game. I think it's like in my top like 5 games of all time, just casually and all that. And I speedran those games and really enjoyed it. And for Soul Calibur 6, I ended up getting like a couple world records back then. Soul Calibur 2 was a lot tougher because it's already kind of established, but I think I did get a record. I'm not sure if I did, but I know I got like some really good times in Soul Calibur 2. And yeah, I did some of those runs for marathons, and they're not too notable, but it's notable to me because those are very fun games that I just enjoyed playing. Like it was around that time when I just kind of started experimenting with some other games that I really enjoyed. Like another game is Fate, which is a I want to say 2006 game, which is known from Wild Tangent, where like I remember playing the first 3 levels of the game on a demo disc for like ages because I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I ended up getting the game and I got the record for it. It was me and the Smoke CS at the time doing runs for that, where basically Fate is like a dungeon crawler game where you're supposed to descend like 40, like it's like endless, so you can descend like as many floors as you want, but there's a final boss which is around floor 40 in like the easiest difficulty of the game, and all you need to do is defeat the boss to like beat the game. And in order to do that, we just got a scroll or a spell called Charm Monster, and we just charmed the boss, and literally everything else would kill the boss. So it was quite funny for how speedruns of that work. But because it's a dungeon crawler, it also has randomly generated dungeons. So you could get super lucky or super unlucky with how the dungeon system worked for that game. And yeah, it was pretty much a luck gamble run. And in order to get all the skills and stats that you need for all that, you just did a lot of gambling with the fishing system in the game, where you just fish a super rare item that you sell for like 100,000 gold, and then you just buy all the uh, items from the gambler's shop, where you could get like super powerful items that let you be able to beat the game that way. And yeah, like I ended up getting world record uh, against the Smoke CS for a while. We traded records back and forth. I think I got the first sub 20-minute time for it, and now there's another runner, Creepium nowadays, who is like the runner for Fate. Has like so many attempts and is super good at it. But he brought the record down to like I want to say 12 minutes or so, which is absurd. And yeah, like now there's like the new Fate remastered version that came out recently. I think I got the record briefly for that, and then Creepium came in and took it all again. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of those games where I enjoyed it a lot casually and just enjoyed speedrunning it. And yeah, I tried submitting those to GDQ, but it's hard to get like the less popular games in. You have to be very good at making it fun and entertaining and all of that stuff. So it can be quite interesting for all of that.
Mhm. Well, just keep going along the timeline, I guess. I got nothing specific.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot more we can go through. Uh, Another thing is Tetris Effect. I also ran at the
Ooh,
time,
all right.
and I'm a big Tetris fan. In fact, like I'm very good at Tetris. Uh, and it was back in 2018, I want to say, when I actually started getting into it. That was when I watched the CTWC
Mm.
with Jonas and Joseph at the time, and that was like the like super entertaining for me. So I started playing the NES Tetris on an emulator on PC, and I started trying to get good at it. I think I got around uh, 700K or something of a
All
score
right.
then,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good. But nowadays, all the kids are cracked and getting like max outs and all that. I can't do that as well. Like I just can't max out. But it was around then when another one of my speedrun friends, G Pro, also Wall of Spain too. Like surprisingly, Wall of Spain brought me to Cultress too, which is a Tetris knockoff game that has a very interesting mechanic. And then G Pro showed me a Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I started playing just a bunch of Tetris in my free time. And back then, like when I was a kid, I played on like Tetris Friends, and then like I was pretty good at just doing Tetrises. And it was only like around 2019 when I actually got into like a lot of the modern Tetris games. And yeah, Tetris Effect was one of them that came out, and I was super like into that. And yeah, I did some Tetris Effect speedruns for like the marathon modes in those games. Those were pretty cool. But I've been like a very big part of the Tetris community. In fact, I play a lot against like the pro players in Tetris nowadays online. Like if you know names like Wumbo or Doremi, like or Caboozled Pie, like all those players, like I ended up playing with and against, and I've gone to like tournaments and all that stuff for those Tetris games. In fact, I'm also a big commentator for Tetris games nowadays,
Hmm.
and I've talked with people like Sharky and all those guys. And yeah, like I commentated for the Tetris Effect World Championship matches. I also took part in the Tetris Effect World Championship stuff.
Hmm.
And I play in like the Grandmaster brackets, which is the highest level. And my best performance was in 2019 as well. I want to say where was it 2019? It might have been 2021 or something. I don't remember like the actual year, but it was a NES or the classic score attack bracket, which is
Hmm.
basically NES Tetris on Tetris Effect.
Yeah, Tetris
And I
Effect
got
Connected update, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I got fourth place in the world championship for that,
Hmm.
and lost to like very notable names. I think I lost to Nenu uh, and Kirby 703, which are like max out players. And it was so close. I was so close to just being able to make it to top three. I think I went 2-3 against Nenu. And like if I won, I could have gotten some prize stuff. That was so close. But nowadays, not as good, but still a lot of Tetris stuff. Still compete in all that commentary. Have like done the WPL, which is the LAN tournament, uh, and I've taken part and commentated for that. And I've gotten ninth place in three different brackets 3 years in a row, and top eight gets money, so
Mm,
it's kind of a shame for that. But something that I do want to say is there's a big thing called Red Bull Tetris that was going on
mm,
for the past year or so. And basically, it's like Red Bull has their own version of Tetris that they let people play and compete in. And I actually went to a bunch of random events and won those Tetris brackets.
mm,
So I got like, I think I won three different Red Bull Tetris events, and I've gotten like hundreds of dollars of prizes. Like I got a limited edition Counter-Strike mouse. I
mm.
got like a goodie bag of like a bunch of stuff. And yeah, just so many things for that. And the competition just ended on Halloween, and the top 32 players get in to the national qualifier for the US, and I am one of the participants.
Mm.
So,
All right.
like, basically, I placed 25th in the US, and they're going to be flying me out to Florida for that. So
Okay.
Red Bull's going to be paying for me to fly out for a Tetris event. And yeah, I get to know some more information in like a couple days. So we'll see how it goes. But it's like a prize just for making it is like $2,000 of prizes. So
Holy
we'll,
shit.
we'll see what
Okay.
happens. So I'm super happy and excited about it. I haven't really announced it too much because
Ooh.
like I plan
Exclusive.
on yeah,
Exclusive
I
announcement.
plan on saying it once it like actually comes out to fruition and stuff, because that's in like 2 days when I am supposed to receive an email on all that. But I should be locked in because I that's what it says on the leaderboard. So I'm just waiting for info and getting my actual flight tickets and everything before I say anything. But yeah, winner of that goes to Dubai, but I am not going to win that competition. There's too many good players. Like if I were in any other country though, actually, like besides Japan, if I were in any other country, I would probably make it through the world qualifiers, which is such a shame because the US is just so like populated with talent for Tetris.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big side story for my Tetris stuff.
I mean, that's
Just a
cool
big fan of
because
Tetris.
I've gotten really into like classic Tetris. Not playing it, but watching it. I was just at a I saw the Jonas Neubauer Cup live. Um
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
there. Um
Mhm.
they had the Red Bull Tetris thing right next to it. I don't know if they had tournaments, but the commentators from CTWC would come over and do stuff over there. But like they had these gigantic buttons and stuff. I don't know. It was like
Yeah,
more just a
yeah.
funny thing.
So yeah, they had those at one of the events, which was PAX West that I participated in, and it was Sharky and I that were playing it. Since
Mm,
Sharky, who's a big notable name in the NES Tetris community, uh, and he's working with Red Bull for that. So
mm,
he and I basically played each other at PAX West for like show matches because I like was the best person by like a landslide over there. And I think I won over Sharky like 2-1 basically in like some exhibition matches. Now he's a lot better, but yeah,
Yeah, he's
it's
incredible
quite
at
a lot
the
of fun.
DAS play style. I mean, he got, I'm pretty sure, second seed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fun tournament. I've kind of gotten a little buddy with some of the Tetris people, so
Yeah.
I I was
Yeah,
at like the
there's a
after
lot of
parties and stuff. So
there's a lot of crossover,
there is a lot of
surprisingly. Like a lot of the
especially Mario One.
Mhm.
Funnily enough,
Yes, who is it? Like Eyeball, I want to say,
yes,
is one of
Eyeball.
those players. Like
Hmm.
I watched him, and I'm big fan of his gameplay when I watched it because I also do watch the CTWC live as well.
Yeah, what
So
helped me was
where
we had a big Mario One tournament this year, and it was in the same room as CTWC. So
mm,
it was kind of hard to miss. So I got kind of hooked. I was like, oh, this is fun.
yeah.
And then yeah,
Yeah.
we have that crossover. Blue Scooty loves
Mhm.
Mario One. Um,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dog has a Dog Plays SMB1 account. So and then
Yeah.
um, Alex T's actually told me he watched me before he started playing Tetris, which was crazy. First of all,
Mhm.
but maybe I could get him hooked on that someday. A lot of crossover.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
Yeah,
is
and
about
I'll be
SMB1 and
seeing a lot of
Tetris,
those
but
guys at the
yeah,
yeah, I'll be seeing a lot of those guys at the Red Bull Tetris thing in the national qualifier. So that'll be pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. I don't know why SMB1 and Tetris, but it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that's a foray into the Tetris sideline stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, big part of the Tetris community nowadays. I'm friends with a lot of the organizers and things like that. I did get some other world records. Like I got the Tetris Effect Purify Endless world record, which is just playing the game for like hours and hours.
Mm.
So that's kind of funny, but yeah, I guess I could go back to the Halo stuff since, yeah, but that was like this is still before MCC came out as well for the PC.
Mm.
But I started playing Halo 2 because there was a Halo 2 Vista version of the game, which is like the first time the game for Halo was ported over to PC for Halo 2 was Halo 2 Vista, and it was such a jank version and because there's a lot of the popular tricks on Halo 2 Vista do not work on like the classic versions and MCC. Like they all have different physics engine stuff. And the biggest thing is sword flying, which is one of the most iconic tricks in Halo 2, where you switch weapons to from like your sniper to like your sword, and by doing that and swinging at the right time, you're able to fly all the way to your target that you're zoomed into.
Mm.
And yeah, you can't do that on Vista, or at least not like properly. So yeah, I played and ran Halo 2 Vista for a while, and it was around then when MCC got announced for PC. So, yeah, I wasn't that good at Halo 2. In fact, Halo 2 is probably my worst Halo game of all the other Halos that I played. But yeah, like I remembered playing it a lot. And it was when Halo Reach came out for MCC on PC was when I got MCC, and I'm like the main person that devved a lot of this stuff for keyboard and mouse for the Halo games because no one else, like everyone else, played controller basically besides on CE.
Mm.
So I was like one of the first people coming up with some tech for like keyboard and mouse stuff. And I was also one of the big runners for Halo Reach for a long time. In fact, a lot of my Reach runs were the main reason why other runners like got into Halo speedrunning as well. So yeah, it's pretty significant at the time for me. Uh, Yeah, lots of Halo runners, especially nowadays, you still like reference my guides. I'm like a big guide tutorial maker. I did a guide for Halo 3 and Halo CE, and those guides are like super popular. And a lot of the current world record holders uh, have attributed their success to me helping them out back then, which honestly is very inspiring to me. Like I believe like Zoo and Sloth like are the current record holders for like a lot of the multi-game runs and their respective games of Halo 3 and Halo CE. And yeah, they used my tutorials and stuff and just pushed it way further than what I am able to do with my with my own skill. But yeah, it's really nice to see all that happen.
All right.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, so I continued playing like a bunch of other random games. Like there's so many other games that I ended up playing because I ended up having like a bunch of games that I enjoyed playing for like Halo speedrunning stuff. And then yeah, I did just a bunch of random games. Like I ran like a Scrabble PS version of the game on PC. I ran like Hollow Knight because I saw some Hollow Knight speedruns and like was also really into the game at the time in like May or something of 2021. And even though I was not like too good at like some of these games, I did do speedruns of them and can be proud to say like, oh, I have a decent-ish time. And yeah, I just like enjoyed playing a bunch of random speedruns of those kinds of games and stuff. And yeah, like slowly, basically, I just played a bunch of Halo as the games released on PC for MCC, and that like was the course of like 2019 through like 2021 was basically all of those games and stuff. And it was around then as well when I started getting like a lot of people to end up watching my runs. So, like in 2019, I did like a couple other smaller marathon runs. And then I also did a bunch of the GDQ side event stuff. So they had like community spotlights where I did a Skyrim showcase. And they also had the Corona Relief Done Quick event for GDQ. And I did a Halo CE run with that. And I had Goat Rope, one of the OG runners, helped commentate for that, and that was very, very cool for me. And yeah, that was like basically where I was at for a while. And eventually, like when I started running more and more, like I ended up getting Twitch partner uh, stuff in like around 2020, 2021. And it was because I was running primarily Halo CE and Halo 3 legendary runs.
Mm.
And yeah, that was when I had like probably my highest point of popularity for streaming at that time. And yeah, it was a bunch of fun. Did a bunch of like random marathon events. And then I also did my own marathon events called Chronos, which I haven't done in like a long time. Like I did 4 Chronos, and basically it was just me running all the games that I could speedrun at the time. And you can imagine that would get like way out of hand like very quickly. I think my first Chronoston was trying to do like a 24-hour stream of just speed runs. And I think I got like 20 hours in and I'm like, shoot, this is impossible. I don't know how anyone does a 24-hour stream. I would highly recommend do not do a 24-hour stream unless you know what you're doing.
I can't even do a 12.
Yeah. But yeah, I ended up doing like Chronoslon 2 and 3 and did like a bunch of just games. I did like all my Elder Scrolls games, all my Halo games on like both easy legendary difficulties. Like I ended up splitting them into like multiple days and stuff. I think my latest one was Chronoslon 4 back in like 2022. And yeah, I just did a bunch of like speedruns, like and they would be before like a weekend or like the week or something. And yeah, it was quite a lot of fun.
Mhm.
uh, yeah, uh, there's a lot of the Halo relay races that also happened. So nowadays, like I'm basically the fill-in for if you need a game that's ran like for runners that need like for instance, there's not a lot of runners for like Halo 4 or something. I would end up being the Halo 4 runner for the time because I'll just fill in for the spot. And yeah, so I did like a bunch of relay races where I just filled in for the games since I knew like basically all of them. I did like CE primarily for the first few, and then as of like the recent like past 3 4 years, I just did whatever games. And I think I'm like the runner along with Sorix, who's the other like way better than me, but uh, one of the best multi-game runners. He and I basically are the main people for filling in all those kinds of runs.
Do those
But yeah,
relays happen frequently?
yeah, the relays are happen on the Halo Races Twitch channel, which I was mainly the person running for like 3, 4 years from like 2018, I want to say, to like 2021, 2022. And I gave a lot of aspect like of ownership to it for the rest of the Halo speedrunning community, primarily like Zero, who has been running all the events as recently. But yeah, it was like it's a lot of those things that do happen, and they happen twice a year. The summer one is for uh, easy, and then the winter one is on legendary. So there's going to be one that's coming up in, I want to say next month, like in the next month or so. So I'll probably be running CE legendary for that. So I'll be going back into more speedruns for that again.
Got a D rust.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of de-rusting. And yeah, uh, and then CE as well was also the first major world record that I would say I got in was Halo CE Easy, the full game category was my first like big world record when MCC came out, and I ran it for like a while, and it was like probably the biggest moment like for me was my first world record for that game for full game. Like I ended up getting like a bunch of IL or individual level world records, and yeah, I was probably one of the most notable for that at the time. I held like a trophy, like a top three time on every single level of Halo CE for like a time in like 2019 through 2021 or something. Nowadays, it's like diminished quite a bit since I haven't been actively running as much for those games. And yeah, it's tough. Like, if you aren't like competing, like, especially nowadays, everyone's super cracked and spends a lot more time, and just the standards get higher and higher. But that's what it is. Uh, but yeah, like I got a lot of decent, solid times on like every Halo game uh, from doing all those different runs, and yeah, that's where I was at basically for Halo. Became like a big community figurehead, uh, admin for the community, and yeah, there's also one more event thing that I also helped out with, which was the what is it? The Grand Prix for Halo runs as well.
Grand
And
Prix.
that's basically like an IL competition where basically you just submit uh like a specific level is chosen out of like any of the Halo games, and the community like like everyone has to submit within that time frame of like a week or something, and like you get points based off how well you do, and it ran for like a couple weeks or so. And yeah, that was like one of the biggest events that I like was a figurehead in, and it's become very popular within the community. In fact, it's like used as part of other community events, which we call like the HSL League, which Zero runs, where we have a Grand Prix style thing and like a relay race in a team format, which is very cool. I took part in it recently, but our team got kind of destroyed from one of the other teams. But you know, it is what it is. It's a lot of fun to organize events like that. And I also did like the Halo Runs podcast, where I discuss a lot of Halo speedrun stuff as well with the community, because I also felt like there's a lot of things that like communities should be doing for speedrunning that they really don't do enough of. Like, for instance, talking about their games, like making videos, content, and stuff to promote your community is probably the best thing you can do to get your game to be like popular within speedrunning. And I think that's like a very important thing, especially for like admins to like the community itself, like having some sort of person to discuss like rulings and things like that, like events going on. Like all of that is very nice and cool to have. So I ran that for a while, but I got kind of like too much on my plate after like getting a job and doing a bunch of other runs and stuff. And yeah, and then there's one more big Halo thing that I do want to talk about, which is the Halo runs segmented project for Halo CE. And that was like a long time running thing where a bunch of the CE runners came together and put together like the best possible Halo CE run using like that. Basically, we just do it off a save file, yeah, and you just do a section over and over again until you get it perfect. And we did a segmented because the previous segmented was back in 2017, and one of the best CE runners at the time, which was Garish Goblin, uh, he still runs now and is still one of the best runners out there. And basically he beat the segmented record, and we really needed to get like an update with all our new glitches and tech that we found. So a bunch of CE runners, primarily Burnt and Cambid, did a lot of the heavy lifting for that. They discovered and did like a lot of dev work for all the tricks and stuff. And then I had a small section at the end of the segmented run where I did the iconic Warthog run at the end. And yeah, that was probably one of the like most fun projects I took part in. And the final time for that segment it is like 46 minutes for like a run that is like an hour. So it is a really cool watch. Like if you haven't watched it, it is probably the like most impressive form of Halo speedrunning that you'll ever see. Lots of cool tricks, tech, and stuff, and like things that you cannot comprehend.
Hmm.
So it's super cool.
Wow, that's so much time. Is it
Yeah.
just like non like it'd be too ridiculous to go for this in a full game run type deal kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
In fact, like I would say it's more like the equivalent like of a task than
Yeah, yeah.
a segmented run with that the amount of effort that went in for that run.
Hmm.
So it's absurd how good Gambit and Birds were with all of those things.
Wow.
Mhm. But yeah, now I guess I can keep going. Let's see what happens next. Okay. Yeah, so now I guess I should talk about the moist critical challenge stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty major. This was in 2022, and basically I saw that Moist Critical or Charlie uh, was doing some Halo Lasso, like Halo 2 Lasso stuff on stream. Like there's a lot of like super popular content creators that have done like some similar things, but uh, like for instance, if you know Summit 1G, he also tried learning some Halo speedrun tech, and I was one of the people that helped
Hmm.
him learn the speedrun tech, so it was kind of fun. But Moist Critical launched the Halo 2 Lasso challenge, where he offered like $10,000 for the first person to beat Halo 2 Lasso Deathless without the Envy Skull. And me, like being like a Halo runs admin, was like, you know what? I'm going to try and reach out to Charlie because I want to like talk about it to him and discuss how it would be done since I know like a lot of the things for Halo speedrunning and Halo like in general.
Hmm.
So I reached out to him with like a cold email and
Hmm.
he's like, sure. And so we ended up getting contact on Discord and I ended up creating the Moist Critical Challenge Discord for the Halo speedrun stuff, or the Halo Lasso Challenge stuff. And yeah, I was the main manager person running all of that stuff at the time. And it ran for like around, I want to say 2 months, a bit over a month, yeah. And yeah, like a lot of the Halo speedrunners took part, the most notable being Jervalen, who won the challenge. But it was pretty much like, if he didn't win, it would have been a travesty for the community because he is the Halo challenge runner of like all the games because he literally only did challenge runs like after he stopped speedrunning back in around 2018 or so. And all he does nowadays is a bunch of challenge runs, which is very cool. And I think challenge runs do get slightly underappreciated as well for at least Halo. And yeah, like basically I ended up running the competition. I did try it a little bit myself, but being like super busy all the time and like I knew I wasn't really going to win against all the other Halo people because I'm not good at Halo 2 either. I did reach the halfway mark, which is a regret, which is the like one of the most notorious missions for uh, that challenge. But I reached there for my attempts of the challenge, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like all the other people that were able to go like as far as they did, like the most important, like impressive one being Frazier, who also got very, very close to beating the challenge over Jervalen, which is crazy because he was like not even a Halo speedrunner. So it was so cool to see like all of that through. And yeah, basically I just helped him with that. And I thought that was going to be it. And then eventually Charlie ended up doing another speedrun competition with a mock runner, and like I'm like, hey, I did the Halo 2 Lasso challenge. I mean, like I can do all these other speedrun challenges. So I talked to Charlie about that, and he's like, sure, you can go ahead and help me out with this because he wanted to do it like a monthly challenge thing. And so we ended up doing a mock runner. And yeah, that was so much fun. He wanted to do a summoning salt style video for that, like all these events, but it's so much work. And he did ask if I wanted to edit a video for that. And I'm like, I don't know if I can be able to because I am not like that good of an editor for like something professional grade like that I would consider.
Mhm.
And instead I like focused on running these events.
Didn't
And
he make
eventually I built,
one for the first one at least? I know like a bunch of other YouTubers made their own kind of
yes, he
stuff as
did
well.
make for a mock runner,
Mhm.
yes. But the rest of the games I don't know if they were actually
Yeah, not on
done
his channel at
well.
least.
Mhm.
I think like Simply and Easy Escape did some stuff, but
Yeah, like they all did a bunch of stuff for that. And yeah, like basically what was it? Uh there's a lot of the other games that came forward after that, including like Exodus from the Earth, Elder Scrolls Redguard, Escape from Lavender Island, and then Another Crap's Treasure. So all of those games and stuff, like it was some of it was suggestions from me. Like in fact, I was the one that said, you know what, Redguard should be a good game,
well, of
and
course, Elder Scrolls.
yeah, as an Elder Scrolls runner,
Mhm.
and because no one really played Redguard either. Like at the time, the world record was around 2 hours from Solitan, who like I have talked to. In fact, he has attended one of the GDQ events and met me in person, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, like uh, I believe Exodus was another suggestion from me because there was another game that was going to be chosen, and I was like, no, that game looks terrible
Mhm.
to Charlie. So I'm glad we went with Exodus because that was such a good game. I think Exodus from the Earth is probably one of the most underrated Moist Critical Challenge games. I think it's a lot of fun and a lot of cool tech too.
Yeah, that dropped a
Uh,
lot too.
mhm. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of like really cool runners and stuff that I ended up meeting, talking to, and doing like all of that stuff with. So it was really cool to interact, but it was also a pain to moderate and like everything because all the rule changes, like it brings it into like mind where some games like it might be a lot easier to think about rules than you might expect, especially when money's involved
Hmm.
and when there's like a lot of competition deadlines and rules and stuff. You need to have like stuff set in stone and you have to like build up over time with like the knowledge that you can get for these kinds of events and running them. And initially, for the first two challenges, it was literally only me doing like all the stuff.
Jesus.
And I was taking suggestions from like everyone, all the other runners, all the top runners, all the worst runners, all like anyone
The
that
glitch
had like
hunters.
input. Yes. Glitch hunters, all the tech people, like creating auto splitters,
Oh
all the
gosh.
people that were finding glitches. Like I had to like work with literally everyone. And I was like, you know what? I really can't do this all on my own. So eventually I ended up building like my own team for these challenges of like people that I can respect and all that. So yeah, it took a long time. And yeah, that's why a lot of the later challenges ended up running a lot better.
Mm.
Although some of them had their own like weirdness to it, like especially another Krebs treasure
Yeah.
was like quite wild to me. So for that game, like uh, that the devs of the game for Aggro Crab, like I have talked to them. Like in fact, I did meet them at PAX West.
Hmm.
One of the guys that was also running, like helping with the donation total towards like, oh, if you run the restricted category, we'll put in another $5,000 on our side. And I had to deal with all that stuff because the main reason why we switched from like unrestricted to restricted was because, or why we didn't want to change from unrestricted to restricted was because the world records were already like optimized in the game
Hmm.
for the restricted category with like runners like Spicy who literally had like a free gold first place if we changed it to restricted. And guess what? He did end up winning.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is what happens when like people want to say stuff and like especially if it's one of the devs, like you can't really say no to like $5,000, yeah, to the community or
Yeah.
something. So sometimes you just have to run with it. And yeah, especially with public like stuff, like it's a lot of things that you end up learning and knowing about when you run these super hyper popular events with all these small things like even the smallest details you can't even think about like matter. And yeah, it's quite wild to see like you have people like breaking the rules in like one way or another because they want to get like the slightest like millisecond, like 5 second advantage to win over the other competitors. And it can be like super significant. And it's like things like, oh, well, what if this guy has like a $2,000 PC versus this guy on like a laptop?
Hmm.
Or like, oh, what if controller versus keyboard and mouse? Or oh, I have a free scrolling mice, or like I don't have a free scrolling mice. Oh, I want to use auto hotkey. I want to use like all these like frame limiter shenanigans. So it's a lot of stuff that you have to think about that you might not even think about, and they do matter.
Hmm.
And especially when you have so many rules like that, and when people are finding like the newest glitch, which requires you to turn your FPS to 3
FPS to get the trick to work, and then switch it back to like your standard 60, or like force everyone to play on 120 or something, and then people are complaining, oh, my PC can't handle 120 FPS. So yeah, you have to keep in mind like you can't make rules for everyone for like those kinds of games, and you just have to take what you get. So
Got to find the
is what
balance.
it is. Yeah. So it was a lot of stress, but it was a lot of fun too. Like it was probably one of the most fun times because I also had a lot of interaction with the community at the time, like of like many different speedrunning communities. Like I've talked to runners from like communities that I like didn't even really know too much from. And like even nowadays, like I'm friends with a lot of the Souls runners and like Mitras and Aggie and stuff. Like I've talked to them at like TwitchCon and stuff, or like uh, the Doom runners, or like all the Source games. Like there's so many runners that I have met across different games from doing these competitions. Like the Mario 64 runners, like Luigi and stuff. Like it's wild. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the last challenge for the Another Crab's Treasure as well was when I also worked with Ludwig for Fast 50 for running that event too.
Hmm.
And I reached out to them to ask if they needed help. And I believe my input was pretty significant at the time for because it was their first time running a speedrunning sort of style marathon event.
Hmm.
And yeah, I helped like get everyone on board with all those things and worked with Ludwig's team, which was off brand at the time, which has dissolved
Hmm.
as of now. But yeah, it was super cool working with them and meeting all the other runners there too. And another fun, small fun fact there, one of the biggest moments at the event was Visuals proposing to his girlfriend at the time at the event. And I was the one that helped set up that proposal because I
Oh.
was friends with Visuals. So basically, he messaged me on Discord asking, hey, I want to do this. Can we contact and discuss it? And yeah, so I just talked to Ludwig and the rest of the crew, and we got it to happen. And that was probably the biggest moment of Fast 50, I would say. So I'm proud to make that happen.
There you go.
Yeah.
Changing lives.
Yeah, changing lives with me being a part of all of that stuff. Yeah. They didn't ask me for Fast 52, I assume, like, because I didn't really uh, get in contact with them too much. I did submit Baldur's Gate 3 for that event, but it's super competitive, especially when you're competing against like more active and more bigger content creators. Like you can't beat like someone with 100,000 YouTube subscribers or
Hmm.
something for like a spot.
Yeah.
So unless you sometimes like get lucky or are very good, popular at your game, sometimes it just might not happen. But you know, it is what it is.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
I
much
mean,
more
yeah.
like content creator focused more than like just traditional speedrunner focused, but nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Just different.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of other GDQ events as well that I did, and I would say the same thing. Like I've been super fortunate and lucky in a way that a lot of the games that I submit, I'm also like are one, they're big games, so they're more likely to get in because people really like to see the popular games. Two, like I'm pretty well known now for a lot of my speedrun stuff, and it's harder if you are not that well known for speedrunning to get into like these events and stuff. And yeah, I just have a lot of time in the community and have done a lot of runs, so it's really cool for me to be like in as many GDQ events as I am or
Hmm.
have done. But yeah, like as I said, the past few years I've been doing so many different GDQ events, like the very notable ones. Like I also did CE Legendary in 2022 for AGDQ. I did Elder Scrolls Anthology for SGDQ 2023. I think that's like the second, or it might be my most watched GDQ run. But then probably the biggest ones as well. Oh, I also have like all the other GDQX events as well. So
Mhm.
I've done like Twitch cons and PAX West for like a bunch of the other games like Halo Reach, Halo 3, Baldur's Gate 3, Halo CE, Skyrim, you name it, like so many of them. But yeah, it was around when Baldur's Gate 3 released was probably my biggest spike in popularity for like YouTube and all that. So I guess I'll talk about that now
Mhm.
because yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 came out. It was like one of my favorite games. I think it is my favorite game of all time is Baldur's Gate 3, which is saying a lot because Skyrim was my favorite game of all
Mhm.
time for like years. I want to say 5 years or something. And now it's Baldur's Gate 3. And yeah, I played it a ton casually. I think I played like 7 playthroughs or something,
Mhm.
like casually before like doing speed runs. And like I beat the game so many different times and did like literally everything that there is to do in that game before I started speedrunning it. And I watched some of Maze runs on YouTube, and I was like, oh, that's pretty dang cool. And I think I did the any percent run, but my PC was not good enough to handle it at the time. So I was losing a ton of time just doing the run because of like issues with loading and all that.
Mhm.
So I did get like around a 4 minute time in 80%. I haven't submitted it because I lost the file,
Mhm.
but yeah, I did a bunch of that. And it was when patch 6, I want to say, released, was when I actually like committed to like probably the thing that got me most well known, which is honor mode for Baldur's Gate 3, which is the one life difficulty sort of thing for the game. It's basically your hardest form of the game that you can play. And I was probably the first person in the world to beat the game on honor mode. And I uploaded a YouTube video about it. Was basically just my Twitch live stream, and it got like so many views. Like, oh, this guy was the first person to beat Baldur's Gate 3 on honor mode, and it got picked up by a lot of like news outlets for
Mhm.
like online news articles. And I got like a lot of people contacting me about it.
Mhm.
And then basically a lot of people watched my first honor mode completion in like 50 minutes or something. And it wasn't a good run or anything. I just basically copied the uh, any percent all axe route, which was basically the speed run that I was learning at the time. And I ended up getting world record for when I was playing that out. And basically, I did that route on honor mode and got it in like 50 minutes. And then eventually I got the record down to like 25 minutes, and that is my most popular video on my YouTube now at like around 480,000 views or something.
Jesus gracious.
And yeah, it was like quite wild to see. And yeah, a lot of my other Baldur's Gate 3 records started getting like views and stuff, like 20, 30,000 views for like a bunch of the stuff. And then I also started making some tutorials for honor mode and stuff, and those got a lot of views. And then the other biggest one that got a lot of popularity was my honor mode glitchless speedrun, which I ended up doing for GDQ as well. And that one got pretty much the same amount of views, like 400 something thousand. And yeah, that video was like probably the best like video content that I put out, which was just me commentating over my speed run for that. And a lot of people liked it. A lot of people liked my tutorials and like used me as a reference for beating their game on honor mode. And yeah, that was probably my biggest thing for YouTube stuff was for Baldur's Gate 3. And it was because of stuff like that, my Halo tutorials are doing pretty well too. I think my most popular is just my simple Banshee grab tutorial, which is one of the tricks that you really need to use if you want to get like the speedrun achievement for Halo CE on Legendary, and that has like 30,000 views or something, and it's literally a 2-minute video.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty happy about like all of those things like that. And I honestly think probably nowadays I should probably focus on making more tutorial stuff, since I feel like that's my strong suit for speedrun content is teaching others, and it's like the biggest thing for me is I really enjoy teaching, helping out with a lot of stuff like that. So yeah.
Mhm. It's cool. I've thought about tutorials myself. In fact, I like started a Discord with other runners to like help me out as I created it, and then haven't done anything with it in a year. Whoops. Content's hard, by
It
the
is
way.
hard. Yeah.
Many don't know this,
Mhm.
but it's not easy.
Yeah, because like I wish I wasn't such a perfectionist in a
Mm-hmm.
way for my content as well,
Yeah.
because there was a time where I was trying to make my own uh, IL world record progression video for Halo CE, and I was doing it for the first mission, Pillar of Autumn, and I got like 5 minutes into fully edited stuff,
Mm.
and people were like, "That's really good," and I just hated
Oh
it.
my. Yeah.
So I just ended up like never working on it again, even though I have literally all the data and all the stuff needed to do the video.
Mm.
And nowadays, I'm like, I really should get back to it,
Yeah.
like eventually nowadays, because I feel like I do, especially nowadays, I feel like I'm way better at making my content if I were to do so again.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to find the time, which, and when you're working full time, have a lot of other things on your plate, yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite tough to be able to do that. So
Yeah. Time's the other
is
big
what it
thing. It
is.
takes so much time to make anything.
Mhm.
Like these are
Yeah.
easy. I just stream it and
Mhm.
then upload the upload the VOD.
Yeah.
Once you add editing and it's like, oh wait, I got to
Mhm.
do work. That takes a while.
Yeah, speaking of content, I also helped out with Summoning Salt's Halo 2 video.
Mm.
So it was me and Cryphon, I want to say Mr. Monopoly as well. And like a bunch of us just got together and helped create that video, which is also his first video that he released for the VHS
Mm-hmm.
collector tape stuff. And eventually he's going to send me over a copy, and I asked him to sign it for me, so I'm going to get a signed Summoning
Ooh.
Salt version of the Halo 2 VHS tape when it comes someday in the mail. I think last week I was on his stream watching his blindfolded attempts for Mike Tyson,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and yeah, he said he's still waiting on it, getting his own tapes for it to
Mm.
send out. So we'll see. It's going to happen like someday, and I'm really excited to receive one. And yeah, it's so cool that he's like doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a good piece of content.
Yeah.
It's so like well themed too for his style. It's like the
Mhm.
perfect YouTuber merch, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That is probably the best thing I can think about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of merch, there's
Mm.
also Halo Runs merch, which I created. So,
Ooh.
if you want to support the Halo speedrun community, I did create a Halo Runs merch webpage for all of that stuff.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, if you're interested, there's like a link in like the Halo Runs Discord, or someone could ask about it. But yeah, it's basically I created a bunch of stuff because people were like, it would be really cool to have like Halo speedrun merch. So I ended up creating like a bunch of stuff like hoodies, hats, stickers, etc. And a lot of people really like it and have been wearing it to like their events and stuff for speedrunning and things like that. And just even casually because it's pretty simple. It's just a simple Halo Runs logo, which was designed by a lot of people way back in the past. I want to say like Pedro Gas, who's a very big Halo speedrunner in Mexico. He's very popular for that, especially on YouTube. Uh, but yeah, speaking of Pedro, he and Wolfie and Jangoost and I were the first four Halo Reach people for the community, primarily at like the MCC PC release date. And I am pretty good friends with them, I would say. And it's pretty cool to see like how we all went. Like I believe Wolfie and Jangus are very retired now, but Pedro's still doing a lot of live streams on Twitch and stuff, and is very popular there. But yeah, we did like a Halo Reach Lasso 4-player playthrough together, and it was so much fun. We did it like all casually and stuff. And then Pedro and I, we have also done some marathon event stuff too. Like I believe we did a charity marathon for a Mexican speedrunning event where it was a 2-player MCC legendary percent run. So basically, we spent like 10 hours playing through all the Halo games on legendary together for MCC. And I think we got like a pretty solid time. I think it would be like technically the record time, but there's like no competition in that category. But it's pretty cool.
Seems like a bit of work.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe that basically covers like my speedrun history from like a general overview glance. Like, there's a lot of other small games that I didn't talk about as well. I have like a bunch of just random one-offs. If you look at my speedrun.com profile, like I learned stuff like Titanfall 2, big fan of like Brian Otto and their runs for that. So I got like a sub 1 hour 30-minute time for that game, which is pretty good, especially for only doing the game for like a month or two or something. And I did take part in their like community events as well. Like what is it, like Mock March or something, where it's like 1v1s and stuff. And I did pretty decently on those. What else? I did Slay the Spire glitchless was very funny because that was a 4 character any percent unseeded run, and that was a world record because there was no one submitting that category. So
Free world
uh,
record.
free world record. But I'm like a big fan of card games stuff. Like I uh, used to be a legend ranked Hearthstone player before I started speedrunning. So I used to play like back before speedrunning. I played a bunch of League of Legends and Hearthstone, and yeah, like I wasn't that good at League. Probably got a lot better at like the later end, but never really played ranked or anything good enough. And yeah, Hearthstone I got to Legend and played against like top pros. I think I played against like Firebat, like season 1 world champion, season 2 world champion as well. Uh, for that game, like just on ladder. But basically, I am a big fan of like those card games style games. So I played Slay the Spire, basically one of my other top games of all time, and I ran that for fun. And one of the runners that I really enjoyed watching was Speed Frog, and he or they're like pretty retired now, but basically Speed Frog and I ran what was it, Stacklands together, which is a very niche indie game that was like a card style. Because I watched Speed Frog run it, and I'm like, I want to run this too. So I ended up getting the records over them for 2 of the categories on there, and that was a lot of fun. Just it's so fun to compete with friends. So I just did that. Speedfrog also did the Slay the Spire run. Like that's what they're known for. And I believe they have the record over me for the glitchless run now, which is like way, way, way better than what I have. Yeah, so mine was an hour 20 minutes, and theirs is 30.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's quite fun because I mean, Speedfrog is literally a Slay the Spire runner, has like held the records for like literally every category for that. And it was just me playing for fun casually. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to play stuff like that. Uh, let's see. Played Peggle because Brian Otto as well. That was funny. I did speedrun Minecraft way back then, like 4 years ago, like probably like a long time. And that was on the pre 1.8 version of the game. So all the modern runners play on like the current patches primarily, where they have all the villager trading and stuff, which makes it a lot easier and a lot faster. Mine was playing on the old, like, oh, you have to get good RNG for like the Enderman spawns and all that. And yeah, I think mine was an hour 46 minutes for that. And that was just me doing a one-off marathon run, like no reset, and that one is quite wild to do. It just shows to perspective like how difficult like some of these games can be as well, especially if you're not super practiced at it or anything. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that just as a one-off. But yeah, I think that basically covers like all my games. I know like for the future as well, I guess I could touch on what I plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, my CE lasso world record got broken by another runner who's been practicing like a lot of lasso runs for like a long time as a lasso challenge runner. And I feel like I can definitely get a way better time in that game. So I'm probably going to go back to learning the run from scratch for that in a way. So it's going to be like breaking or hitting two birds with one or whatever that that idiom is or something. But like, yeah, like I'll be doing CE Legendary and Lasso for the relay and just my own sake. And I probably am thinking about submitting Lasso at some point to a GDQ event, but I would really need to get good at Lasso for me to do that. So it's going to be a lot of work. Uh, Otherwise, like plan on learning like new speed games, like at TwitchCon, talking to Star Zero Chris and Mitris about recommendations for like Souls games because I've always wanted to speedrun like a Souls game because it's looks very fun and entertaining, even though I haven't had too much experience with them. Like I played like a little bit of Dark Souls Remastered at the time, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, but I just never beat it because it was back in like 2020 when I was playing it, and I just got swamped with stuff. But yeah, other games like I'm playing through Near Replicant right now, probably Near Automata later, so I might try out those games for speedrunning. Basically, I really enjoy playing games casually first and see if I would like them for speedrunning and stuff, and just play a speed run like casually through and see if I like it or not to keep going. So I'll probably do something like that for Near. Uh, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of that stuff. And then there's going to be CE remake coming out next year sometime, and a big speedrun event that I plan for GDQ for next year as well. So those are my future plans. Of course, there's like not set in stone. I'm doing like a lot of things, especially with my Tetris stuff that's going on. Uh, but yeah, uh, I guess that's pretty much it for me. Otherwise, I could talk about like my other fun games. Like I play a lot of rhythm games on the side for fun, and am pretty decent at them, I would say. And
Did you talk about all the GDQ runs you've done?
uh, I guess so. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that I have
Yeah.
done, and they kind of all fly like what is it? They all like mash together in like one big blob to me because I've done
Mm,
so many at this point. The
right.
Skyrim one sticks out because it was like my first one.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like the smaller CE runs, for instance, that I've done, like CE Legendary, for like Corona Relief and for AGDQ 2022. And I think those were solid runs. I don't think they were the best though. Like the AGDQ 2022 was probably the first showcase of like Banshee out of level, one of the big tricks that only works on the MCC version of the game because you're able to see the out of bounds geometry in the new graphics that the MCC engine has compared to the classic graphics. So, uh, yeah, there's all of that stuff. Uh, there's a lot of the Elder Scrolls anthology was a pretty major one.
Mhm.
That's probably like one of the scariest runs that I've ever done at a marathon because it's like 6 games. You have to know how to speedrun 6 games or 5 games because I also did a bonus incentive for Red Guard for
Mm.
it. So I had to also relearn Red Guard too for that event.
And was this after
And
the
this was
challenge?
after the
Yeah.
challenge.
Okay.
So yeah, it
Nice.
was pretty popular for all that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I had to do all all 6 games in a row. And it was a pretty solid marathon run overall. I don't think anything went really wrong for that run. And I think it's probably one of the best runs that I've done at a marathon. Uh,
I see. I remember
let's
the like
see.
the 4-player
Yeah.
runs.
Yeah, so that was the Halo 3 Legendary Co-op.
Mhm.
That was me, Nervy, uh, Brian Otto, and Adif, and that was so much fun. It was primarily because how that happened was because I was like thinking about it would be really cool to do like a co-op run, especially after my friends Nervy and Helpless did their CE co-op run, which I commentated for. Like I've done so many commentary for runs at GDQ as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I commentated their CE Ledge co-op run, and that was amazing. Although the technical side of things for that run was very bad. Like like fun behind the scenes for that run was the run one of the runners PCs shut down mid-run
Oh my god.
because we were sitting on power cables during the run, and it was a world record pace run, so it could have been a world record live at GDQ, and it was after the most RNG trick of the run.
Oh my god.
So basically, all the hard stuff was done, and they could had like a free like ride to the world record, but it like the game, the PC crashed because of sitting on power cables and stuff. And not only that, the entire run was like a mess audio balance side as well. Like I couldn't hear one of the runners. We didn't have any mic or tech checks before the run. It was like a complete failure on GDQ's part for that specific run.
Mm.
And it was so bad, in fact, that Cool Maddie, the like leader, yeah, for
Mhm.
GDQ, came up to us in person and apologized for like what happened. So yeah, it was very unfortunate about the circumstances for that run. But I think we did really well for all the tech things that happened, and I think ever since then, like GDQ has done a lot better for their stuff regarding that.
Mhm.
Like I just don't know how that initially happened though for that specific run.
Yeah, I remember when they
But
used to leave consoles on the ground, which is how the infamous Mario 3 stomp happened. So
oh
these
yeah.
you live and you learn, you know.
Yeah. Because like I do know like a lot of the GDQ people, they're like a lot of really like they're really good. Like
Mhm.
everyone's super professional and everything.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, uh, what did I want to say? There was something I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I was there for my Halo Reach run. Like that was also one of my more notable runs for TwitchCon. That was the run where I had to restart like a couple minutes in and got ended up 1 minute from my PB afterwards,
Mhm.
basically. And that run was so good. It probably has my most memorable moment at a GDQ, which is my first try armor lock launch. So, if you don't know, in Halo Reach, there's a trick called armor lock pressure launch, or APL. And that is one of the most RNG tricks in the game, where basically we use the armor lock on top of one of the characters that, like the NPCs that are in the game. And it sends you in kind of a randomish direction, like at a certain angle and height, and we can't really control for it. So, in order to get a world record for the level, which is Nightfall, you need to do that trick and like fly all the way to where the forklift is, like to do a forklift clip, or fly over the gate, which is like quite wild. I think right now it's like literally my last world record is because I have the APL launch over on Nightfall over the gate on Legendary. And it's one of the most difficult tricks because of zero consistency.
Mhm.
And in fact, the best Halo Reach runner, Seclusive, has tried like for like a month or so and can't beat my record because it's that like difficult
Mhm.
to like be able to do. And yeah, so I ended up on GDQ. It was a donation incentive for me to do APL,
Mm.
and I landed it first try
Ah.
on stage. And like you can see my reaction to it for the GDQ video, and you can see everyone else's reaction too. It is like wild because even Brian Otto like was on my couch was stating, I did not see him land this trick in like 2 3 hours of practice, and I didn't. Like I didn't land it at all. It is that difficult. And basically, I landed it first try on stage, and that was like wild. That's probably the best moment.
Yeah,
And
so
then
it's so RNG
that,
heavy that it wasn't even a thought in your mind until you got the donation.
so it like it was a donation incentive for me to just try APL because it's
Mhm.
like a cool trick visually because you just go flying, yeah,
Yeah.
in like Halo Reach where you normally don't like fly at all. And I was planning on giving it like, I'll try it like 10, 20 times or something because it's very easy to like set up and retry because you get a checkpoint for it.
No, okay.
But in order to save time, you need to land it first try at the right spot, like all the way. And
Mm.
that's like basically impossible.
Yeah.
And yeah, like even for me, like I think I spent probably 2,000, 3,000 tries to get one run with it. So yeah,
The
that puts
odds.
it into perspective because I think Seclusive has like 10,000, 15,000 attempts or something.
Hmm.
And yeah, he is like literally the best reach runner. He's like the world record holder for like all Halo Reach basically. And yeah, even he like can't land it. Like yeah,
Yeah.
it is wild. But I landed that first try, and that was amazing.
So
Uh,
obviously, it's like not a trick you do in full game runs. It's IL
you do not do
exclusive.
that in
Yeah.
trick. Yeah, like you can do it for memes because it only loses you like 10 seconds or something, like going for
The
it.
Hail
So
Mary.
you can try
Let's.
it like, yeah, it's like 10 seconds to save like what normally 5 seconds it would save, but at best you can save like 20-ish seconds. But that's extremely rare. Like I saved like 5 seconds at GDQ with it, which
Mhm.
is already absurd to save time with that trick.
So the IL you have is the 20-second save then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
and it's literally the only reason why I have the record is
Mhm.
because I got it over the gate. And yeah, it's like wild to watch. Like you can watch it on Halo runs. Like all
Mhm.
the Halo speedruns can be watched on there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Otherwise, that run also has like the package, which is one of the most difficult Halo speedrun missions as well for Halo Reach, and I landed that entire area first try too, and like the reactions from the crowd for
Mhm.
that are like pretty cool. Like I believe it was JSR,
Mm.
very fun runner, who I talked to at like some of these GDQ events.
Yep.
Like he can hear him yell like oh my god, or like what's going on because like basically you just have to survive like a very difficult section, and I was like one health the entire section. Like any one stray shot could kill me in that run, and I would lose like a lot of time, and I did it all first try, and that
Mhm.
was like really cool. So it's pretty cinema, the Halo Reach run. So I would say that along with the Elder Scrolls Anthology run, which was just a solid clean run overall, were like my best two runs.
Mhm.
And then other than that, after that was Baldur's Gate 3
Mhm.
stuff. So that was when I did like honor mode glitchless, which was super popular. I did mess up once in that run, which caused me to have to load a backup save file, which sucks.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was like the only big mistake that I had in that run. Everything else went pretty smoothly. And then yeah, otherwise a bunch of like the GDQX runs. I did Halo 3, which was very awkward because I had to switch from easy to legendary mid-run because of the donation incentive, and
Oh, okay.
I wasn't preparing on playing easy at all because I was expecting to meet the donation incentive for legendary. So we ended up doing I play easy for like the first two missions, and then we switched to legendary in like when the donation incentive happens. And yeah, like I was just not practiced for easy, which is quite wild. So I was messing up some stuff that you wouldn't mess up on easy because I was playing on like legendary mindset. And the Halo games are very different when you play easy and legendary with how you do combat, how you do tricks and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, you just have to keep like a lot of stuff like that in mind.
Yep.
And then the most recent GDQ for SGDQ 2025 was my Halo Reach co-op run. And that was because I really wanted to do this for ages. It was Wolfie and Pedro that ran it in 2019 of or 2018 of SGDQ. And it was really cool to watch their run. And it was a two-player co-op run that was an hour and a half. And when MCC PC came out, like all the co-op runs have gotten like way, way better because there's so many more people in the community. So a lot more people are doing runs, and more people means more co-op run potential. And so I got my friends for Halo Reach, which were Mankey and Dice and Nervy, and we all ran Halo Reach Legendary Co-op. And yeah, that was a really, really good run too. I think it was like an hour in 4 minutes, I want to say, something. Like it was really good. And that was a lot of fun to do. Otherwise, like I commentated for like a bunch of other random runs, like Richard's Tetris 99 run, or like there's the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remastered run by Ezekiel, and a lot of just other Halo runs. Like if there's a Halo run or an Elder Scrolls run, I'm probably on the couch for that, like in the recent years. But yeah, uh, otherwise the recent runs were PAX West, TwitchCon. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about ESA.
Oh, yeah.
I did I did go to ESA 1 year, and that was 2 years ago. And I did two games. I did Baldur's Gate 3 and a Halo 3 easy relay race there. And ESA was so much fun. Like I had a lot of fun in Sweden. That was my first time flying out internationally. So that was like wild to me to go to like Sweden and all that and meet all the other runners there. And in fact, I like have a Halo Runs mouse pad, which is signed by literally every Halo runner that I could find at like these events. So I have runner signatures from people from Australia that came to ESA and stuff. And it's so cool because I have like a piece of Halo speedrunning history like on a mouse pad. I do wonder if I have it with me like nearby. Probably, probably not. Like I could probably pull it out if I search for like a few minutes or something. But yeah, it has like 30 signatures of like everyone that has done a Halo speedrun at like a marathon that I could find, or like Halo runners in general. So I have like Mr. Monopoly's signature. I have like a lot of the other notable Halo runners like Zoo and Sloth and the like. But yeah, it's so cool to meet and hang out with those other runners. Like I think that's like the biggest part of speedrunning that is cool to me is just meeting a lot of people that have the same interests with you. And
Mhm.
that's what makes speedrunning fun.
That's my favorite part. That's why I go to every GDQ ever.
Yep.
Despite what the money may say. It's fine, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. Yeah, ESA probably has my worst run though,
Mm.
which was my Baldur's Gate 3 any% all axe run. But I can say that was not my fault. It was primarily because the game kind of doesn't run well when you're running the wrong patch and
Mhm.
on different hardware and everything. So some glitches do not work properly, and I had to mercy kill my run. And I think it's the only run that I have mercy killed was that run, and I mercy killed it on Act 2, and it was like very, very, very bad. So that's kind of why I block it out
Mm.
of my system is because that is probably like the worst possible thing that could have happened. And I didn't like wasn't able to create any backup saves or anything for the event either. And just because all the hardware stuff is different, it just makes it so much worse to run when you're not used to it. It's like that for like certain games. Like Halo's fine, but like when it comes to like tech heavy or like spec heavy games like Baldur's Gate, yeah, it's really rough.
Mhm. So
Uh,
that's kind of
mhm.
all the history of speedrunning for you.
Uh, yeah, uh, pretty much. There's like a lot of stuff that I could get into, like very more in depth. It would probably take way, 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 way longer if I went like meticulously through all my runs and stuff.
Well,
Like,
instead you
especially,
could like highlight certain resources if people could find more
yeah.
information or something.
Yeah, you could check out my YouTube, my Twitch, and stuff. I will probably get back into streaming soon. I haven't streamed in a while because one, working full time nowadays. Two, plan on like chilling, relaxing because it's the first time since like in fact this past week is probably the first time I haven't traveled for like the past few months, I want to say. I've been
Jeez.
traveling like for different events and community stuff. In fact, right after this podcast, I plan on meeting up with some friends for like dinner and stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty busy on my plate. And even after this, I still have the other stuff going on with not only the relay race, but with the Red Bull Tetris thing that I'm flying out for in a couple weeks.
And
So,
then GDQ in two
yeah.
months.
No,
I
I don't plan on going to this next GDQ. I've had it with traveling for at least this next GDQ.
well,
But SGDQ, I'll be back onto it. I don't know if I might try for like PAX East or something. I also do a lot of stuff with like my other IRL friends. I have played like Pokemon regional stuff
mm,
because my friends are super into Pokemon. So they go to like the regional tournaments, and one of them did almost make top eight uh, for one of the regionals. Otherwise, like I'm just a standard 3-5, 3-6 tournament player for those things because I don't really play Pokemon. And that's still a pretty decent performance for someone that just plays casually. uh,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah. uh, but yeah, if you do want to see me in person, like I'll probably be at like a lot of events and stuff. If you really want to find me, very easy to find me because I'll be at the arcades playing rhythm games like a quarter of the time at GDQ when I do go. Like you'll see me play all those Japanese rhythm games. I'm a very, very big fan and can talk all day about like rhythm gaming and stuff too. Uh, yeah, I mean, I was top 250 in the US for Osu Mania at the time, one of the Osu game modes. Nowadays, like I'm washed, but I'm pretty good at rhythm games too for all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a whole
But
thing
yeah, that's a
I'm
whole
not familiar
side
with at
thing.
all.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it for me. Can just check me out YouTube, Twitch, and stuff. Do a lot of speedrun stuff. Probably more. I'll probably try to play more casual games on stream, just so I can get my streaming back on schedule. I haven't been streaming as much as I should be, especially because
In
like
there.
new PC, I'm still kind of getting all my stuff situated for all of that. So even like my webcam, I literally just set up right now just for this, and I don't think it's a good webcam. Like you can see it flicker and stuff for all that. Like I really want to get an upgraded webcam for all that stuff, or probably use my phone for a webcam, but I really don't like using it that way.
Mm. I use my
Uh,
phone camera for hand cam, and hey, it works
yeah.
very well actually. So
Yeah, I know it is way better quality and stuff. It's just that I would rather have my phone
mm,
not as a video device while I'm streaming because I'd rather be checking some stuff on it, like
fair.
sometimes.
Now you gotta
uh,
lock in. You gotta put that shit away.
yeah. But yeah, we'll probably do a lot more stuff. I'll probably start streaming like probably my guess is near Automata on stream or something for fun. And then uh yeah, a lot of Halo speedrun stuff. And probably we'll start doing like more casual games like uh Souls games as well. Because I really do want to beat a Souls game on stream and stuff and play it a lot more.
Any
But
interest in more
yeah.
of the challenge side of things for some of the speed
Ooh,
games?
yes, I did message Charlie recently. He hasn't messaged me back, so we'll see about it. Like the main thing is it is one, money out of Charlie's pocket. Two, if there's like not a lot of interest in it, it's harder to do it, especially for Charlie because he'd rather do something that he's like very interested in, and like if he's interested in it, he'll probably do it. That's what is basically going to happen.
Yeah, I know those
So
died off
if we can
kind of
get like
suddenly.
the yeah, if we can get like Charlie to get his speedrun itch back somehow, either by like, getting some more speedrun cool video stuff that he watches or something, or a game that he's like very interested in playing or getting the gameplay for. Like that's what happened for like Escape from Lavender Island and stuff, or like a big event that goes on that he wants to take part in. Like he didn't take part in Fast 52, but for Fast 50 it was because of Ludwig's event that he decided to go ahead with it.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know you did
Mhm.
like a unofficial one, I think.
Yeah, I did unofficial one. What was that game? Completely forgot the game off the top of my head. It was Rat Hunter, yeah. And that was actually a really good game. So highly recommend to check it out. It's pretty funny of a game,
How was
but
the turnout for
it's
that with
pretty
it being
solid.
unofficial?
It's definitely not as big, but there's a decent amount of people for it. The main thing is crowdfunding is kind
Mm,
of rough for the challenges. Like
yeah.
that's the feedback that I got because a lot of people just want to take part for like the money and popularity and all that stuff. But if you can't get that stuff with like without a big name, it is a lot harder to do. And I know speedrun.com already nowadays has their own challenge runs done by like Meta and the speedrun.com team.
Yeah.
And those challenges are really good. And a lot of those are just done by the devs reaching out to SRC for that.
Mhm.
So another alternative option is to reach out to devs to do a challenge like that. But I don't really have the resources or the time commitment to do that. So a lot of it will probably come down to talking to others and like regaining interest from like Charlie, who's the main person for that sort of thing.
And then just like challenge runs for you in like the Halo games and stuff. Have you've mentioned a
Yeah.
little bit about that kind of stuff, but like not just speed running, but more of the
Mhm. Yeah, so there's a new challenge run Discord as well that's separated from the Halo Runs community. There was a lot of like slight controversy in the Halo Runs community regarding challenge runs because they're not really speed runs in a way,
yeah.
and some people like take offense to that in the community, which in my opinion is kind of dumb because I think all game like run categories should be valid. And the main thing is challenge runs are focusing more so on completion rather than uh like speed times and stuff.
Hmm.
Although the challenge runs do track the timer for how long it takes to complete.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of like challenge run stuff in the Halo community, I would say, and they're ran by like a lot of people like uh that are kind of a part of it. Like I believe BT White Bear or something is the main person doing stuff for that. So they put a lot of money in because there's a lot of big donators from like Jervalin's chat, who's the big Halo challenge runner guy.
Hmm.
And basically, a lot of Halo speedrunners have gone to the challenge run side of things just to try to take some of that prize money
Hmm.
for those challenge runs. And I don't know how well they are going about for doing that, but there's like small prize pools for all of that stuff that are going on. Yeah, it would be fun for me to take part in it, but I am not that good at challenge runs. I do want to do Lasso just because Lasso for CE is what I consider to be fun for me. I don't find all the other games on Lasso that fun, but yeah, it just depends on like what is going on.
Hmm.
Like there's like right now I think there's the Lasso Plus challenge or something that has gone on or is happening, and basically it's like use playing Halo with all skulls on, but it includes like all the extra difficulty skulls. So it's like even more than your typical lasso speedrun stuff. And basically there's like a challenge to see how many levels can you beat with all the skulls on. And basically they're counting who has the most levels completed for that with like video recorded deathless. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I
There,
know
oh yeah,
it's
there.
popular
Mhm.
speedrun adjacent content.
Yeah,
So
like another big thing is deathless speedruns. I think that's the more a factor of the challenge runs because people are saying uh, deathless speedruns instead. But in general, like if you do a speedrun flawlessly, it should be deathless. So
yeah.
that's kind of where it gets like kind of weird because the deathless runs are like normally not as optimized in a way because people are just doing it super safe, and in my opinion it's not as big of a challenge
Hmm.
because all like if you play it like properly you can pretty easily get a time deathless that is comparable. Even like in my opinion, like I think I could probably do one deathless run if I put my mind to it, but it's just not as fun in my opinion. And yeah, everyone has their own mixed opinions on that. I know some people that like obviously like hate it a lot, and then there's a lot of people that are very big fans of it. And yeah, that's why there's like a big thing in the Halo speedrunning community nowadays about stuff like that. And then there's things like glitchless speedruns for Halo, and that is like a total another side track of a thing where people are saying like, "Oh, this is a glitch," or "This is not a glitch," and it brings me back to the challenge run era of all the rules that you have to create because yeah, it is way too difficult to define what are glitches and not glitches in games, and yeah, that's like an entire video on its own.
Oh yeah. I've heard many a argument about many a
Mhm.
games, so
Yes.
definitely a common talking point.
Mhm.
Well, I think
Mhm.
that's everything. Maybe. I think I'm out of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that covers it for me. There is like so many things
Mm-hmm.
for me speedrun creation wise and things like that. So many cool people that I have talked to and worked with and interacted with. Like I believe the list goes like even longer if I were to continue talking and stuff like that. Like working with like Tomato or Easyscape or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to them in the past and stuff. Just a lot of people in general for speedrun content creators, and me wanting to create speedrun content myself is pretty major.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But yeah.
someday it'll work out, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see when I have more time or
Yeah.
something, which maybe will happen, maybe will not happen, or if I feel like burnt out completely of speedrunning and just want to fully transition into content or something, or if I want to keep doing speedrunning and put content on the back foot. Like, I don't know. World takes me how it wants to go from what interests me, what I find interesting. Like, who knows? Like, I wasn't planning on running some games that I ended up running. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 was kind of a thing on the back burner and now has become like one of the games that I'm most known for.
Mm-hmm.
Or like nowadays, like I'm playing Nier. I really enjoy Nier Replicant so far. So who knows? I might just end up speedrunning that game and might really enjoy it. Uh, but yeah, we'll see what where life takes me. That's how I will put it.
Mm-hmm. Certainly have a lot on your plate. So, well, I guess we can wrap it up here. I know you've kind of gone over, well, you've gone over the future plans, and then I know you've kind of said where to find you, but since that can be the last thing I ask, I guess just anything you want to shout out
Uh,
here, and I'll
yeah,
keep this.
yeah. Uh, you want to follow me once again? Twitch slash Chronos or YouTube, which is Chronos Returns. You can find me just by searching like Chronos Baldur's Gate 3 or something. It's very easy for all that stuff. There's a lot of like cool pieces of content that I've put out for like the Halo Runs community as well. You can check out all the other communities that I talk about, like on speedrun.com or on haloruns.com. Uh, Lots of those things. You'll probably see me at future GDQs as well, doing a lot of other games, a lot of community events too. Uh, Shout outs to like all the other runners, like especially you for having me on this podcast. But there's a lot of like really cool people out there that are doing speedrun content and things like that. And I think everyone is really cool to like work with, interact with, and all that stuff. And yeah, speedrunning has been like probably one of the biggest parts of my life for the past like 8 years now, being a part of like big communities and all that. And yeah, really appreciate everyone for all that they've done for me as well from all the trick finders. Like I think the trick finders really need a shout out, like all the glitch hunters and stuff. Like they're probably one of the least talked about people, but they're the most notable is like trick finders, glitch hunters, the people that create the tools that we use, like the demented salad or something for all the moist critical challenges has been doing a lot of stuff. Uh, and there's like quite a lot of people, like so many people.
Oh yeah, we'd be
Uh,
here forever. There's so many
yeah.
contributors to so many different
Mhm.
aspects of the community.
Yeah. And yeah, I would say big shout outs to the ones that got me into it, like Wymorn. Uh, there's also Kuru. If you don't know Kuru, he's a racing game speedrunner. In fact, he ran Need for Speed Most Wanted, and that was one of the first streamers that I watched for speedrun stuff.
Mm.
So he's very big on my list of names, along with Bubbles Del Fuego. Like he was one of the other runners for Skyrim that I ran alongside with, basically for like a few years. And yeah, like so many notable people way back in the day, Goat Rope, Mono, uh, like Waz, and then you have all the other Halo speedrunners that are out there, like Nervy, who's been accompanying me for like a ton of these GDQ events nowadays. Uh, you have like a lot of the other runners, like Tenten 220 and Shatter Mage for my first GDQ. You have all the other world record holders like Seclusive, Zoo, uh, Gambit, Sloth, like so many notable names in the Halo speedrunning community. Like I could go on forever. Sloth, I mentioned. Cordy Axis was my other runner alongside Burnt, who joined alongside me, and they've all been really solid people. Some other runners that have retired and haven't seen from. Like, there's so many people.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for me. So,
All right. Well,
hmm.
obviously the links are on stream, and I'll include them in the YouTube description to find you, and also to find me. But who cares about that? But this show, is important, and everyone should watch all 142 episodes before
Yeah,
this.
it is really cool. Like, I think getting insights on speedrunners' histories and all that is probably one of the coolest things for video content stuff. And I
Mhm.
think people can definitely use your content for like other content as well. Like when people are
Mhm.
discussing things like history and all that, like especially if you were to have like a summoning salt style thing for like uh if you want their perspective and backgrounds and stuff. I think this is a really cool channel
Interesting, because I don't
for
think
all
that's
that.
happened yet. The only thing
Yeah.
I know is that I think Dexerto stole one of my thumbnails once from one of these
Oh,
episodes, but
that
other
sounds
than
hilarious.
that, it,
Yeah,
it wasn't
I think
actually that
it'll
big a
be
deal,
really
but
cool.
it is funny.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just
Mhm.
like listening to speedrunners talk about their history. And
Yeah.
what better way for the content to exist than to make it yourself?
Yes.
Boom. And it's very easy content to make, which is why I can do
Mhm,
it. I just sit and listen. But yeah, I guess that's all for
mhm.
today. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming
Thank you
on.
for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Good lengthy episode. Appreciate the time. Appreciate everyone's time for watching, both on Twitch and YouTube. Follow the show, follow the channels. I think I'm just gonna call it here. So, goodbye,
Mhm.
everyone. Tune in next
Yeah.
week.
See ya.
Bye.